How's it going? I'm Dan Fradenburgh, and this is Chess with Investors. I'm joined today with Delaney. How you doing today, Delaney?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. After all, this is one of the great benefits of being a real estate person and investor in general is you get a little bit more time freedom than most people, so you get to have a bit more fun during a work day than a lot of people manage to do. But of course, why are we doing this, you might ask? Well, the fact is, it's the internet, and sometimes you have to do something weird for attention, like playing chess with your friends. All right, so the game has now begun. Delaney, you need to do your first move, and right after you do that, please go ahead and introduce yourself. You need to, yeah, there you go. So now you can go ahead and take your time. So introduce yourself to the audience, please.
All right. Hi, everyone. Delaney here. I'm new to real estate investing. I'm trying to focus on beating Jan at the same time introducing myself. Remind me, what was the question again, Dan?
Yeah, just to introduce yourself. So, like I already know what your W-2 is, and it's always exciting to have tech people. And I don't know if you're allowed to disclose where you work or not. So, but feel free to be vague if you want.
Yeah, I work in the tech company. Been working for about 9 years now. And before that, I was in the service, U.S. Navy. And I did close to 10 years. And I'm looking for the next best thing. And I believe real estate syndication is where I need to be.
Yep, it's an exciting thing. It's somewhat complicated too. There is some legislation about it. When we were discussing before, you mentioned that you're somewhat new to the space and you're still brave enough to come on. I always appreciate that. And as far as the compliance goes, when it comes to this industry, the most important thing to remember is that you can't specifically mention a deal that you're involved in if it's a 506B. So if you have any 506B deals that you're involved in, make sure you don't mention that. And then the other thing for you in the audience is if you end up getting involved in a 506B deal, just make sure that if you're going to be on the GP team, you have to have some sort of asset management, some sort of contribution to the deal on top of whatever investor relations you do. But that's the legalese for everybody. But I guess the good next question, Delaney, is what brought you to real estate? I know that you said a little bit about that already, but do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So I want time freedom and financial freedom, like most people does. And I don't feel like the stock market is doing what I want. And I've been researching and learning from other people on how real estate has helped them grow in life and have their time back. And I believe you're one of those people, right, Dan?
Definitely. The one thing that scared me about stocks in general is they're all publicly traded companies, and publicly traded companies have a PR department, the public relations department. And a public relations department's job is to spin whatever's going on in such a way that the public doesn't freak out. Which, if you're going to be really, really cynical, and with a tech background, you're surrounded by cynics all the time. So, sometimes I think that spinning goes beyond just what do you want to call it, the truth. And if you're involved in a Main Street sort of deal, like commercial properties, especially, multifamily and whatnot, if you're involved in a syndication, you're going to be dealing more or less directly with the GPs, the people who are the decision makers with your capital. And so it's really important to be able to talk to the people involved in the decisions, especially if you have sufficient sufficient knowledge in how the deals work and that sort of thing. So I think I'm going to do this actually. But that's the thing that's really appealing to me about getting into that side. But of course, I shouldn't just paint ourselves in the corner by talking about equity. But it sounded like you also had a bit more to say on this subject, and so please continue. Or what else comes to mind on this subject?
It's just that right now as a W-2 worker, every time I want to do something, I have to confirm I have enough time, vacation, you know, enough money to fund my vacation and everything that revolves around W-2. And I don't feel like it's a right thing for me. I have four kids and two little ones that I feel like I need to be there for them. Three of them that I want to watch them grow.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's all. All of my why to where I'm looking for the next best thing where it can give me financial freedom and time freedom.
I love that answer because honestly, I think that in terms of regrets that people have, like your people devote themselves to their jobs and whatnot, but jobs come and go. Sometimes you're at the same company for decades at a time, but let's see here. How am I going to navigate that one? Interesting stuff, but yeah, it's kind of tough to multitask like this, isn't it, Delaney?
It is. I'm trying to focus and hopefully.
Yeah, can figure out something. But yeah, me personally, I was fortunate enough to be a primary caregiver for a short period of time of my son. By the time I had my daughter, my wife was already she'd already quit her job and was staying at home for most of her early childhood. But after the kids were all in school, she's got her own career now. She actually teaches Mandarin, especially to diplomats, Canadian diplomats, which is a pretty exciting career. And it's always nice to have something to be proud of, like that sort of work. And it's also one of those things where I think there are a lot of jobs out there that I don't want to say that they're thankless, because that's not really the point. The bigger thing is that there's something that you can more or less measure, and language is one of those things where before the person couldn't speak the language and now they can, so it's a real thing. I'd better guard that and ignore what you're up to. Oh, actually, I can do... That's even nastier, isn't it? Yeah, I'm going to do that then. Right, yeah, I do have that other square covered too. But there you go. So I guess I should share the idea of this Chess with Investors show. So my first commercial real estate show, talking to different syndicators, deal sponsors. Sometimes they're just passive investors. Sometimes they're operators, that sort of thing. It was because I was coming from my tech role as a CTO of a firm, a real estate firm in Cleveland, and I heard that some people were having these welcome calls for potential investors or potential partners, GP team building, that sort of thing. And they'd be these 2-hour-long marathon phone calls. And I was sitting there going, like, I can't I can't do that. I can't build a business that's based on 2 hour long welcome calls with people that I'm not even certain that we're going to do business with. So to basically check multiple boxes at the same time, I started the dandoesdeals.com chance encounters, which was anybody I'd meet in that sort of professional capacity. I'd say, okay, come on the podcast, and it's about 15 minutes long, and I'm just going through what's your buy box, what's your core contribution or core competency that you're bringing to the table as a GP. What exactly is it that you do? And it was great to build a name in this niche, especially as a relative unknown. Like as a tech guy, I avoided the spotlight like the plague. I really liked my own privacy, and then eventually I'd say that my privacy became a little bit too expensive, because your next gig, like people have to know who you are if they're going to give you a chance as you get along in your career. So I'm going to go ahead and scoop up that night right there.
Oh, I forgot about my night. See, you got me thinking about what to say. I forgot about my night.
Yeah. And that actually is part of the idea too, is that, like real estate, it's full of setbacks too, right? And that being the case, like that's the other thing that I'm looking for is to find out. It's like, okay, is my guest the type of person who explodes when things don't go their way? Because if that's the case, then real estate probably isn't for you. And one thing, here's a new one for you, yes, you in the audience, that I haven't said this in any of the 40 something episodes. I think this is episode 47 or 48, something like that. I'm also checking to see what people's level of chess is, because basically, like I've hit the books in the last couple of years, about 2.5 years on chess, and part of that is because of my son, and he showed a talent for that. As a matter of fact, just this last weekend he went to the provincials, which is the Canadian version of like a state championship sort of thing, and he did his best performance out of any provincial event that he's done in the past. And but really, like, just to keep up with him, I really had to hit the books in my spare time. And I've treated chess kind of like the way that smokers use their smoke breaks. It's like, oh, well, I got 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there or something, so I'll just do a few puzzles or something along those sorts of lines. And basically what I'm trying to say is that if somebody can beat me easily at chess, I know that they had to have had some period of time in the past where they took the game really, really seriously. And the question is like, okay, so when did that happen? How did that happen? And it's a little bit similar to in my Dan Does Deals Chance Encounters. I have the actually I can pull it out here. I have the Dan Does Deals commercial core competency. Right. And
so you did.
Right. And the reason why it's so important is because of this side here, the sponsor KP side of the cube, which when you're taking a course on commercial real estate, the chances are they're not going to really spend much of any time on the fact that there is such a thing as a KP, a key principal. In other words, the one who's signing on the loan. But the reason is because you get a lot of 20-somethings who figured out that on social media you can rent a Lambo in a fancy Airbnb for a day. It's a business expense, do a photo shoot, and then you look hugely successful even though you've got nothing going on. And so when I have them on the Chance Encounters and I explain, this is what a KP is. A KP is a person who can basically sign on a loan that's like $5 million, $10 million, something like that. And, sure, social media is one thing, but if you're actually going to come onto a podcast and make that kind of claim, well, first of all, the SEC will have a thing or two to say, but usually they lose their nerve and realize that maybe it's not such a good plan, and you get a little bit more honesty. So that's part of what I'm up to here. I'm going to do that just to undouble my points. But that's the thing. It's this chess is a tough game. There's no two ways about it. What if I?
How long you been doing real estate, Dan?
So I came from the CRM space, and I started working for a real estate company for the first time in 2014. And that was for a fix and flipper out of Cleveland who also had a coaching wing. I helped bring his revenue from $1 million a year up to about 3.5 a year after a little over a year. And so that was, my start, but it was, like, again, real estate is a team effort. Oh, you saw that. Good stuff. Yeah, I was 100% going to move my bishop to A5 to basically dislodge your queen, and now it's not looking like that's really a plan anymore. So I guess what I'll do is I'll make it so your bishop can't annoy my pawn, my F pawn there. But yeah, that's that. So basically, that was my first chunk of that. And then once I saw, he was doing 10 single family house transactions a month for years before he hired me. And so basically, after I got an idea of the numbers involved, I realized that I was clearly on the wrong side of the right industry. I like that there's a fundamental value in real estate that, for example, like in websites, it's just not there. One thing I'm really sensitive to in real estate is the value of traffic, and that is definitely because of websites. Basically, if you don't have a source of traffic, then it's just not going to the website's not going to make any money. It's not going to be sustainable. So that's one thing I'm constantly keeping my eyes open for. In real estate as well, like when people say it's like, oh, there's a huge opportunity, and it's like, okay, well, what class is it? It's like, oh, it's a C minus, or it's a D, or something like that. And it's like, ew. Okay, so where is it located? It's like, oh, it's a tertiary market, it's like tertiary. Okay, so it's not in the core, it's not on the outskirts, it's quite a while out. It's like, all right, so what's the population growth? Is there like a last mile Amazon center that's being built there? Is there a new semiconductor fabrication factory coming in? Like what is it exactly that's going to give that likelihood that more people are going to demand housing in that area? So that's what goes through my head. But
what's attracting it, huh?
Right, exactly. It's I say with when it comes to websites, if you build it, they will not come. It's not like the Field of Dreams at all. Okay, good stuff covering that one. What are we gonna do about all of this?
What market are you in now?
So the thing that I'm up to more right now actually is I've pivoted from being focused on equity deals. So I've done the GP thing. I was on 88 units in Texas as a GP, and then I like to say that I'm sponsor dependent. And so, in other words, just like the guy back in Cleveland, I need somebody with a business that's already built to work alongside. Okay, so you got that there. Can't do that. Can't do that. It's not entirely trapped, which is good. If I go there, then you can go there. Yeah, that got my attention real fast. Okay, yeah, I think I'm going. Yeah, I'm going here. All right. So I'm sponsor dependent. Or as I like to say, is I'm not the dog, I'm the tail. And so usually I'm throwing my hat in the ring. And back in January of 2024, that turned into an opportunity to work with a debt fund. And the thing that's interesting about working with a debt fund is that rather than, you know, basically engaging the people to invest in an equity side of a deal. In other words, you're a limited partner. You actually own part of the business that owns a particular multifamily or commercial property. That way you get access to a disproportionate upside. You generally get preferential returns, those sorts of things. But there's still the opportunity for capital calls, and you're still really relying on the growth, the forced appreciation from doing renovations, that sort of thing. Whereas with a debt fund, what you're up to, you know what? I still am going to do this. Yeah. So with a debt fund, what you're doing is an investor invests their capital so that you can loan it out, so that the manager loans out the capital to fix and flippers in this particular case, and it's short-term first position loans so that real estate professionals can build more. Okay, so now that's a nasty little battery you got there. I guess I can return. Oh, or I could do that. Yeah, nah. Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Oh man.
This is fun. This is a good match here. It's you're really put on the pressure.
Game is not done.
Yeah, it's not done. It's not. This is not settled at all. But really, what I'm trying to say though is that the business model in a debt investment is much simpler, because the question is like, okay, well, is the borrower going to have the ability to repay or not? Whereas in an equity side, it's like, okay, do you really understand the impact of insurance? Do you really understand the impact of tax increases? Like utilities becoming more expensive. All of these things can result in paused distributions or even capital calls. And so you need basically a more sophisticated type of investor if you're going to, what I'd say, ethically get them involved in a deal. So that's what I like about the debt side of this. But once again, I'm sponsor dependent. So I just am always working with a group that I think has their heart in the right place, and it has significant enough business potential to make some things work. Okay, so putting that there. So that's hanging. Actually, no, nothing's hanging. I like it when nothing's hanging. So do I do that or that? Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it this way.
I messed up.
Yeah, I got a really tangled web there on my king side. It's pretty crazy, right? Because the knight is defended by the bishop, the pawn is defended by my king, the other pawn's defended by the other pawn and the bishop, and the dark squared bishop is defended by the knight. So, yeah, wow. Okay.
Wow, it's great.
But your light squared bishop is more protected than it seems, because it's covered twice.
Yeah.
Unless I want to go all kamikaze. Is that okay to say these days? I don't even know.
I don't follow the terminologies and as an English language second language speaker, so to
Yeah.
say.
Is your first language Tagalog, or have I?
It's called Marshallese. I'm from the Marshall Islands, so
Oh, okay, okay, yeah, yeah. So I took my shot. I took my guess without asking. It's some would call it racial profiling, but
yeah, it's all good because I was on another phone call with another investor, and I told him where I was from, and he told me, "Oh, I had a friend that went there, and then he learned Tagalog." I was like, "We don't speak Tagalog where I'm from."
right, right, right. So there you go. So I don't know if I actually there. That reminds me of one thing that I definitely want to. Oh wow. Okay, that's one thing I want to discuss with you. I may not have gotten a chance to mention that I lived in Taiwan for
Oh,
15
yeah,
years.
yeah. I heard
I
it on
did.
the network calls. Yeah,
Right, right.
and
And
you're
so
fluent in the language as well.
right, right, exactly. So it like basically through teaching, I ended up doing a lot of self study. A part of it, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do that because it's a liability as it stands. But so I ended up doing self study of Latin, for example, and that really helps when you're dealing with Romance languages. If you know it well enough, and especially if you know enough French and Spanish, then you can kind of you know make educated guesses through a lot of Romance languages just through reading. But in the Marshall Islands, the language there is it a tone based language? Does it have tones?
What do you mean by tone?
Okay, so in Mandarin, for any phoneme, so any syllable, there are four different main tones that you could say it. So, for example, with the phoneme of shi, okay, there's four different tones. It'd be shi, 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 and all of them have completely different meanings. But
No,
like
that's not a tone. It's just the way how you use the word.
okay, okay. I guess another example. So Japanese though, it would they've got stresses,
Hmm.
but they don't mark them down in any way. So that makes it a little bit tough to learn how to really pronounce things properly. Whereas Spanish is fantastic because they do mark down the stress, the emphasis. So using English as an example, we say elevator, we don't say elevator,
Mm.
right? So there's a stress there, but it's kind of hidden. Yeah. Okay, and so now, where are you going? I guess you're going here's safest. Yeah, so with Spanish, they every time you see that little accent, that's where the stress is, and so that's how you know how to pronounce it properly.
Yeah, it's just the way they write it, but the only difference is there are words that have different meanings, and
Hmm.
just how you say them, how you use them.
Uh huh. Uh huh. So that was a statement, not a question, right? You're not asking how they do it in
Now, because
Mandarin.
you're asking how if we have those words,
Yeah, the
uh,
tones are.
the
Yeah.
tones, yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. Pretty crazy endgame here. Yeah, actually, I guess it's probably easiest just to do. Oh, do I have a way to get there? Oh, I do have a way to. Oh, that's even better. Yeah, this is a crazy one. So you do have 10-second increment on each move, so you have at least 10 seconds to figure out what to do
Yeah.
every time. I'm gonna see, yeah, because that's unblockable.
Woo!
There's getting to be some heat in the kitchen. Okay, so I can go there. Not sure that that's the best move. Let's see here.
What market are you in if you're like investing?
Yeah, so the debt fund is based out of Arizona, and we work with a broker that is able to lend in, I think it's around 40 different states. But so far, the loans have been only to a only to a couple states. But you know, the main thing is that the deal sponsor, he he's been doing these sorts of deals since. You know what I'm going to do? Oh, actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I was about to do something that's kind of dumb. I was going to trade off the queens, but then you'd wind up getting my my rook as well. And that's no good. Oh, okay, yeah. Now I know where this is going. Yeah, I'm going to get your queen in a second by the looks of it. You're going to get my rook, and I'm going to get your queen. Because you only have one square to go to, and then I'm going to move my rook over. Yeah, and now you're going to move your king out of the way, and I get your queen.
Ah.
Okay, so I kind of want that pawn.
You won this one, Dan.
All right, so you can hit the flag if you want to resign. I have to agree with you on that one. But we are connected on LinkedIn. I know that that's the best way to reach me personally, because that's where I spend most of my my social media time. Of course, I got this nice distinct last name, which makes it pretty easy. I'll switch over to it says I had mate and 4 there, but yeah. So that's where I spend most of my social media time. It's definitely the best way to connect. And if you want to appear on Chess with Investors, just direct message me and let me know that you are an investor or you're involved in real estate in some capacity and you play chess. Otherwise, dandoesdeals.com has it's now over 370 different episodes with different commercial real estate professionals in general, and talking about their deals. But Delaney, if people want to reach out, if they're interested in working with you, what are the best ways to reach out?
LinkedIn for now. I'm working on my web page, so LinkedIn as of right now, and then yeah.
Excellent. And so that brings me to my public service announcement that I like to do in all these different episodes. It's not necessarily for you, Delaney. It's for you in the audience. If you've been watching this episode and experiencing searing pains in your eyeballs, and maybe like migraine-like symptoms, I'm confident it's due to the downright hideous subscribe button that's just down there, and you can hit it for free. It costs you nothing. Honestly, all it really does is it means that my videos may show up in your list of suggestions, and the reason why I want people to hit it is so those deadbeats at YouTube end up paying for these videos instead of me. I think that would be fantastic, but most importantly, you don't even have to pay attention to those other videos. Frankly, I just appreciate the fact that you spent this time with me. Just like Delaney, I really appreciate you joining me. This is fantastic.
It's always fun being with Dan, whether it's playing chess where he's distracting you or joining his network. I always enjoy Dan. It makes everything fun.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
All right, Dan.
Oh, hey there. I hope you enjoyed the show. And if you are into chess, if you play chess and you're an investor of some sort, real estate or otherwise, well, you can be on the show too. I know, right? All you have to do is connect with me on LinkedIn. My name's Dan Fradenburgh, so I'm super duper easy to find on LinkedIn where I spend most of my social media time. But if you're one of those people who just don't play chess, it's don't pay attention to him. I don't judge. All you have to do is go to dandoesdeals.com and you'll find the Chance Encounter series where you're welcome to be a guest on it, where you can share your core competencies that you're likely to contribute to a GP team or a JV. You don't have to be doing syndications. And we'll talk about your buy boxing and stuff like that. It's easy peasy. It's like 15 minutes long to record, and there are no real fastball questions. Just tell the truth, and everybody will be fine. And if that's not really your thing, dandoesdeals.com. It also has the way to meet more, join more people, add more people to your investor list, your different deal sponsor operators and KPs and passive investors, all that kind of stuff. I'm probably repeating myself, but I'll give you the rest of your day. I appreciate you watching Chess with Investors. See you next time. Bye.